Welcome back to The Pulse. We are live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're also live on all our social media handles at JoyNews on TV. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Danana Aisha. In a matter of hours, fuel prices will go up at the pumps by as much as 7%. It is the latest effect in the rally of the commodity on the international market as most economies recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. There's a rush to the pumps by consumers in Ghana to try and minimize the impact of the hikes on them. We'll shortly speak to a policy analyst on this matter. Right now, though, let's bring you Manuel Cranson's interaction with some consumers of petrol and diesel.
Manuel, fill us in on what exactly it is you've noticed since you've been to the filling station today.
So you can see the activity behind me. Quite a number of vehicles are trooping in here to get their tanks filled. Indeed, from off-air interactions that I've had with them, the price have been consistently in the past couple of weeks been rising, and the attendant here just told me that just at the start of this week, a liter was going for 6 cedis, 50 pesos. Today is at 6 cedis, 52 pesos. And with the announcement of a possible increment by the weekend, indeed there are concerns about this this price quotation actually even moving further from where it is now. I'll try and just move briefly and speak to a few of the customers here who really have, I've had the cause to, complain about the prices. My boss, briefly, good afternoon. You're live on the Pulse on the JoyNews channel. Grateful. I see that you're rushing here trying to fill your tank. Have you heard of impending, fuel price hikes?
Yeah. I read about it. I was told there is a 7% increment, and this is what we expected. This is not what we were expecting from the president and the vice president. They told us everything is going to be as we think it's going to be. I don't know what is happening now. Every single second before you hear they are going to tell you we are increasing your fuel and then the taxes. I don't know what they are doing. Mr. President need to do something about it. You understand me? This is all I can say for now, you understand me?
And so, MFI, you heard him there. He's one of the concerned, of course, patrons here. I'll try and speak to the attendants and speak to even some more people who are buying this afternoon. Grateful, sir, if you could speak to us just briefly. We see these folks, you get the sense that they buy in bits from different stations. My boss, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
What's your name?
My name is Abdul Karim Mahmoud.
Abdul Karim, tell me, what is the situation with your fuel prices?
We say we cannot say anything. It has already been increased, so there's nothing we can do.
But catch me, there be a mokotoa price no increase and I confirm, and I stable.
Stable.
Okay. For how long, ne?
Like I say, for about 2 weeks now. It's normal. But for today, I don't know.
For today, you don't know.
Yeah.
But I say by Saturday now, I increase it by 7%. What's it? No.
I know that I'm in Shadan. Man.
The price increase by 7%. It be affect you.
So increase the be affect, especially we so Okada no be affect.
How?
Uto be 20 cedis. At first, 20 cedis. It lasts from morning to around, let me say, 4. But now, if you buy 20 cedis from here to Mamobi, unless you come and buy a new one, so at least always your tank has to be full.
You say what? You talk something. I want to hear you.
I say, look at petrol intensity. It's too high. Therefore, reduce the petrol for us. We don't know what is going on.
So this one be how much?
10 cedis with that. Look, like pure water. But we pray for God. Maybe God help them to make them see what is going on to the country to help the country.
They say by Saturday now it go up again by 7%. That one how you go do them?
We can't talk. If we talk, our talk is not right way for them. So what they want is what they're doing.
So what do they want to make the government do help you?
The government for what is right. The government for what is right to do right.
Let's speak now to the two experts. Duncan Amwa is Executive Secretary of COPEC and Peter Tekpe is a policy analyst. Let me start with you, Duncan. Duncan, you've been monitoring the space on behalf of consumers. What are we likely to experience beyond the current hikes?
So like you indeed put out, the numbers we are getting with the BBC quotations and the numbers that our in-house calculations could arrive at, petrol could go up by at least 32 pesos tomorrow. Diesel could do about 30 pesos. That is plus or minus the possibility of the cedi's depreciation being added. And that is why we have seen in other quarters 40 pesos projection being put out there. And so if all things are to go according to the output figures we are seeing, Ghanaians could be likely paying about 6 82, anything between
this is therefore no time to waste.
60 90.
Go ahead, Ms. Amma.
Liter for every petrol. So, yeah. So.
Hello, Mr. Duncan Amwa. All right, so we'll try and get Duncan Amwa because he's trying to break it down for us to understand what exactly.
Once that is.
All right, Mr. Amwa, you are back. Go ahead for me. Okay, so there's a terrible connection there with Duncan Amwa's line. He will try and explain to us what to expect when he gets to the pump tomorrow. But Peter is also there. Peter, what do you see from the policy point of view?
Thank you very much. Indeed, the issue of fuel price increases has been with us for a very long time. Unfortunately, politics has taken over. And as a result, many people do not understand what contribute to the price increases in the petrol prices at the pumps. If you look at the price buildup of the fuel component, it is actually seen that there are other factors that we don't have control over. Factors of inflation, depreciation of the currency, prices of the world in the world market. These are issues that we don't have control over. Unfortunately, we have played politics with it over the years, and as a result, many people, many consumers who even go to the pumps to buy fuel find it difficult to even determine the quantity or the amount of fuel that goes into their tanks. Government over the years has been subsidizing until the deregulation came into being. And the deregulation came into being because of the debt that has piled up that government is not able to pay for the subsidy that it offers. Now, we have come to a situation where government must be very fair and let the people know, the Ghanaian know, what actually contribute to the price increases at the pumps. When this is clearly known and politics is taken out of it, then we'll be able to better appreciate when prices are increasing or prices are going down. What is affecting us now is that everybody wakes up and then they say we are increasing, prices are going up. Nobody comes and actually tells us what is going to contribute to the price increases. So today we are saying that by Saturday prices are going to increase, but nobody is explained to as to what is going to cause the increases. But we all wake up to it because it's a necessary evil. Cars must move. You can't take out of your way because you need it to be able to move around. The vehicles must move, and it is used for other purposes as well. And so it is actually a cause for concern for everybody. And government must move away from the politics of the fuel prices and actually leave it into the hands of the expert, so that when there is going to be an increase or there is going to be any change, the expert will come out to explain to the populace what is driving that. Then we will appreciate the reason why prices goes up or prices go down. Other than that, we will be only getting up and hearing that prices have changed at the pumps.
Duncan Amwa is back, thankfully. Duncan Amwa, you were earlier making the point as to what to expect when we get to the pumps tomorrow. Tell me more about that. Hello, Duncan Amwa. Okay, so Duncan Amwa is not back yet, but Peter is still on.
Yes, I am actually here.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Right. So you didn't finish making that point before we lost you. So I just want you to wrap it up for me.
Sure. What is likely to happen tomorrow and the days thereafter is a minimum of 30%. That could move pump prices, at least for the oil majors, from about 6 cedi 52 pesos to around 6 cedi 82. Anything between 6 cedi 80, 6 cedi 90 for both petrol and diesel is to be expected. LPG gas is also going up by at least 40 pesos per kilogram. In some calculations, we've seen about 50 pesos also being discussed. So LPG could now cross the 7 cedi 50 mark, also approaching 8 cedi per kilogram. These are difficult times that requires management. Unfortunately, the finance minister that we would have wished to hear from around this time has not uttered a word. We have sent a memo to the ministry indicating what could be done to at least stabilize prices for Ghanaians. What we have heard so far is attempts by the president, who is obviously concerned about the rising cost of fuel at the pumps, to try to do something. But Aisha, I dare say that the 16 pesos stabilization and recovery mitigation is not going to solve the problem. There have been a pack load of taxes on the fuel price buildup. Recently, we've added again energy sector levy of 20 pesos. We've added sanitation and pollution levy of 10 pesos. Bus margins have gone up from the 3 pesos to now 9 pesos. You also have special petroleum tax, which was added some time ago when crude prices were lower, also still being charged. Once you keep these taxes at their optimal levels as they are today, if you go ahead to reduce stabilization of 16 pesos, you would still have a variance of at least 26 pesos, even if the stabilization and recovery was to be taken out today. So we are insisting that the 2022 budget yet to be read should factor these things. I do not think that there's anything currently of concern to many Ghanaians than the rising cost of fuel at the pumps. And that is why we insist Mr. President must step in again to indicate some of these taxes that we have packed on the price build-up to be taken off. I have also heard the Honorable Kwekuku yesterday on one of your programs suggesting that even the stabilization that we are taking off would have to be paid for by Ghanaians at some point. Let me remind him that the stabilization is not, sorry to say, a revenue stream for government. We are supposed to have contributed that into a fund so that in times like these when world market prices are soaring, we could have a buffer fund that comes in to also help all of us. Unfortunately, whatever has been contributed, the only excuse you get is that it's being used for premix. I do not think that all of us contributed 16 pesos simply to subsidize for premix. Whatever we needed to have used stabilization for, we are not using it. So that cannot be a revenue stream for government. What is, however, revenue stream for government is what you will call the VAT on petrol, which is the special petroleum tax of 46 pesos. We do think that because Ghana produces oil, $84 per barrel today is positive, because I have indicated that if Ghana produces every 1 million barrels, and world market prices at $50 a barrel, what it means is that Ghana will get $50 million, right? If it goes to $60 a barrel, Ghana will realize $60 million. If it goes to 70, you will get $70 million. If it goes to 80, you will get $80 million instead of the 50 that you originally were getting. So crude prices going up is somehow positive for the Ghanaian economy also. Sadly, when it goes up and we get more from our crude exports, we refuse to reduce the taxes that we have already added onto the local pump prices. And that is what is leading to all the difficulties and the mishappenings within the system. If we don't take out these taxes now, I am afraid before November will get to an end, we would have crossed the 7 cedi mark, and I'm sure Christmas will be a very difficult time for everybody in the country because the cost of goods and services is rising by the day. Transport operators, I'm sure you've spoken to them widely, are already demanding for 20% increment in transport fares. And we do think that this is the time that the finance ministry must demonstrate a certain tenacity for wanting to manage fuel prices for Ghanaians. Anything other than this, I am afraid, would simply be overcharging Ghanaians at the pumps at a time when government is making additional revenue from our crude exports. We are also optimizing all the taxes, and even the discussion of taking out stabilization is now being seen as a revenue that government will lose. We beg to differ. We need to manage at this point.
What we can do to control what happens on the international market? How can we handle the situation?
You see, Aisha, the three key components that lead to pump prices being what they are. One, the international market price, IMP, or what you call ex-refinery. Government of Ghana has no control whatsoever. In fact, we are just a tiny country as far as, crude prices and price movement and geopolitical actions that would determine whether prices go up or come down. We are just a small, player in there. So we don't determine international market prices. No, neither for crude nor the finished product. The second key thing is that you go to buy the product in dollar. Now, when you get back to Ghana, you can't trade in dollar because the legal tender here is the cedi. So the conversion or the exchange rate becomes also critical. And so the cedi-dollar interaction would also have to be factored into how much you pay for at the pump. That second factor, the BOG has some control, partial control, how much the cedi appreciates or depreciates. It's a function of how much of the dollars they also have that they can use to subsidize the system. The third and most critical factor now is the taxes. Government has 100% control of the taxes. So whilst you can't control international market prices because you don't decide them, whilst you can partially control the cedi's stability or otherwise, you have full control over the taxes. As we speak, the taxes alone constitute, taxes, levies, and margins, alone constitute 47% of how much we pay at the pump. So at 30 cedis a gallon, you are contributing almost 14 cedis, 50 pesos every gallon for taxes, levies, and margins. We are saying if you took out 2-3 cedis at this point, you could stabilize prices at 27, plus or minus, give or take, even 28. Ghanaians could manage and enjoy their Christmas. As and when fuel prices begin to decelerate, somewhere later next year, January, February, or even March, we can now have a discussion about reinforcing the taxes that we took off. But if we don't decide now to do anything about these taxes, transport fares will go up, cost of goods and services will go up. And as you know, Aisha, once these things go up, they never come down again. And so even when international market prices decelerate later next year, we will still be paying very, very high prices for goods and services within the country, simply because we were caught ball watching, we sat aloof, made excuses, and told the Ghanaian that any attempt to take off taxes will mean government revenue will be limited. Government, I must point out, at this point, is raking in excess revenue for our crude exports simply because what you budgeted for 2021, $57.8, right? The moment it goes to $60, you are over recovering. The moment it gets to 70, you are making a windfall. At over 80, you are making double a windfall that you would have probably not expected at the beginning of the year when crude prices were hovering around 48, 50, 52. Now you are at 84 and it's still rising, getting to 85, 86, and we are still charging all taxes in the name of revenue. Aisha, we beg to differ. It's getting to a difficult point. I do not think that authorities would wish for things to get really bad for everybody for Christmas before they come in to do anything about these prices that we are seeing at the pump. Tomorrow it will rise. Again, if you are not lucky, by the 1st of November, it would rise again because international market prices for both the finished products, both petrol and diesel, they are still rising. Some have crossed 700, 800. They are still rising. So by the next 1 or 2 weeks, we would come back to have this discussion again because we are not out of the woods yet. The only thing we exercise absolute control over is the taxes. And that is exactly what we are hoping the finance minister at this point will be concerned to want to ease down on these taxes so that Ghanaians could at least for the next 2-3 months get a bit of a relief from these incessant increases that we are seeing at the pump. Aisha.
Peter Sekwe, let me bring you in here. I mean, in terms of policy, what do you expect to see? Because, of course, Duncan Amoah has explained to us why we do not have control over international market, but we can also ensure that we do a lot of things here to cushion it when the prices go up. What do you expect to see from the policy angle?
The issue of price increases will be with us for a long time, and it is not going to change for the better. The reason is that we heavily depend on import. We are not refining crude that will meet the demand of consumption. You have BDCs who are in business. He imports at his margin, different from the price composition that has the taxes and other things on it. You import, and because you need foreign currency to be able to buy, what it means is that whilst you are importing, and then you are selling in Ghana cedis, and when you sell in Ghana cedis, you have to go back to the banks and then buy dollars, and then pay for the importation of the refined product. We are going to continue to go to the pumps, and prices are going to be rising. The reason is that we are not refining anything in country that will meet the demand. Now, if assuming TOR is refining, what it means is that everybody who goes to buy from TOR will have to look for Ghana cedis to buy, because of course TOR will import, but when they import crude and they're able to refine, then selling to the populace, everybody now goes to be able to go to TOR. When many people are able to go to TOR to buy in cedis, what it means is that there will be less pressure on the currency. Once there's less pressure on the currency, it means that importation of refined product will also reduce. Once importation on refined product reduces, what it means is that one aspect or one component which causes the increment in the price has been taken care of or has been managed in a way, because the pressure on going to buy dollars to buy and import will reduce. Until we start looking at how to position TOR strategically to be able to complement the importation of the refined product, prices will continue to increase at the pumps. And so it is up to the government to decide what then do we do going forward. Because once you are importing and government is not able to import to meet the demand, and it is being imported by private businesses, definitely they are in business to make money. And these are the reasons why we are not going to get it better in the coming days. So everybody knows that once the cedi is depreciating, of course, the prices at the pumps will increase, because once prices at the world market is increasing, they are going to import. That's what is going to happen. Now, those who are also refining in the countries where we are buying from, what it means is that now, because of COVID, logistics mobilization, supply chain has been affected. So prices of goods and services are increasing everywhere now. What it means is that production costs will also increase. Material costs will also increase. So once you are depending on importing more, definitely the last person who is a consumer will be, all the costs will be passed on to the consumer, and the consumer will be the one who will be suffering. And so once we are in this situation, we need to have a permanent solution to these fuel price increases going forward. Other than that, it's going to be worse off because of the deregulation, in the sense that every pump has their own prices. And so government policy in ensuring that we reduce the refined product importation should be the focus, so that it will complement the effort of affecting the economy into this direction that we are in now.
I'm grateful for your time. Peter Sekpe is policy analyst. Duncan Amua is with COPEC.